Hello and welcome to episode 3 of PR Unplugged. Today, we are going to discuss about a field that is much less known in the industry, arts management. Arts management is the backbone that turns creative ideas into sustainable careers and public impact. It links artists with the audience through strategy, funding, production, and communication. It's especially timely now as cultural organizations navigate digital discovery, shifting revenues, and global collaboration, making professional management an essential for visibility, livelihood, and long term growth. Today we have with us Ms. Ramya Rajaraman, an art entrepreneur with over 24 plus years of experience in the industry. In 2017, she founded ArtSpire, an India-based art management company with teams in Toronto and Chennai, serving 70 plus clients globally. She nurtures emerging talent through mentorship and collaborations for art sustainability. As a qualified life coach, she also guides artists past creative blocks. Welcome, ma'am, to the show.
Good morning, and it's lovely to be here at the Stella Maris College and to be part of your podcast, PR Unplugged. So, congratulations on this initiative.
Thank you, ma'am. So the first question, when you started ArtSpire, what was the one thing that was missing in the Indian art world that made you want to start this as a business?
Right. So, at 2017, which is about 9 years ago, right, what was missing was the lack of business and management thinking within the arts and culture sector. So, you may all know that India is so rich in art and culture, and there are so many art forms across, performing arts, visual arts, etc. But we've not had sort of a structured approach to managing art, to understand and manage the business, the marketing, and the management side of arts. So that was sort of the missing piece. And since I come from a marketing and a business background, I've done that for about 15 plus years, and I've always loved the performing arts, especially. So I was trying to bring both together, and I saw that there was a gap in the industry. There were amazing artists, amazing arts organizations doing fantastic work, but their biggest challenge was, how do I reach more audiences? How do I communicate with impact? How do I grow? Go to the next level. So these were a lot of challenges they were grappling with, and my passion for the arts and my professional background, sort of, I brought them together, and then I started ArtSpire.
Okay. So why do you think that there are very few art management companies in India? And what change can we bring to change that?
So, like I said, it's been about, I think, 15 years since arts management has really picked up in India, right? So, and we are about 10 years old. So, it's still a growing sector, and it is also a challenging space to work in, because a lot of arts requires a higher level of funding, a higher level of resources, which generally lacks in the Indian context. We are dependent a lot on patrons, and we are dependent on sponsors and some government grants. So we need much more funding to help the sector grow, and that push will also help in more sort of arts managers coming into arts entrepreneurship. So today we have a lot of arts managers. There are many arts managers across Chennai, Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, across India. So arts managers are individuals doing the work, like what ArtSpire is doing, right? We're doing it as a company, they're doing it as individuals. So today there are many arts managers, and it's a thriving career today. Actually, what it was 9 years ago when I started, today a lot of people are wanting to get into arts management. But arts entrepreneurship itself is a different ball game. Not everybody, may want to do it, but also the ecosystem, I don't think, is ready to sort of help incubate more arts management companies. One of the primary reasons being is funding and the resources. So the hope is it will slowly grow. It may not grow at the fast pace in which we've seen many other sectors grow in general, but I'm sure, like, in the next 10 years, there will be consistent growth in the arts management space.
Okay. So, ma'am, you said that the traditional Indian art relies on donations and the Sabha culture. So, what is the toughest thing that you had to tell these art organizations so that they can think about earning steady income instead of just donations?
Right. So one of the things that we do when we work with artists or arts organizations, so we have clients who are both individual artists as well as arts organizations. Organizations could be an institution that's teaching dance or music. It could be an organization that's curating events, curating festivals, or it could be venues. So all of them sort of come under the umbrella of arts organizations. So what we do is we work with them closely to understand what are the possible revenue generation strategies we could adopt, and not just depending on a single revenue. For example, if you take a Bharatanatyam institution, one of their primary revenue streams is to teach students, and they get a fee.
Yeah.
That's their primary revenue.
Yeah.
But we work with them to look at, okay, that's your primary revenue stream. What else can we do? Like, for example, can we do workshops? Can we do residencies? Can we do events that can help generate funding, etc.? Can we do master classes? So we are constantly working with our clients to explore new ways to generate revenues in a way that works for them.
Okay.
Not like just random ideas that we feel like maybe exciting to work. It's not really that way. It's very strategic. It's thinking through what is their expertise, what do they want to do, and taking that and seeing what else we can do to create revenues. Can we do online masterclasses? Can we do global masterclasses because through digital platforms? So there are a lot of possibilities today, and so we are constantly talking to them, looking at what are the various ways to generate revenue apart from depending on pretty much that one source of funding.
Okay, so ma'am, you have a team in Toronto and Chennai. So, based on your work in both the cities, what is a noticeable change that you see in the diaspora audience that makes them more connected to our traditional art over a local community?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that they are more connected than us. I don't know if that's what you mean.
Okay.
They are connected in different ways to their own culture, because with diaspora audiences, there's always that, so that urge to connect back to roots, etc. So they do it in different ways through learning their art forms or attending performances or being part of their community. And of course, in India, it's different. You are here. You have a lot more access to art, culture, and everything. So the difference. The difference is vast, so I'm not going to get into that. But I think from a point of how it is as for us to work with artists there and artists here, I think one of the big differences that there is funding. There is a slightly more structured way of approaching funding and approaching professional work there as opposed to here, although it's changing a lot here. And in terms of diaspora audiences itself, I think there's a lot more excitement to, so they're craving more for performances and things like that. Here, of course, mostly we are spoiled for choice. We have access to all art forms, and we can watch them whenever we want to. So I think that craving is probably a little more with the diaspora audiences. And sometimes if it's December, there is this music dance season, and a lot of them come here to catch some of the performers here, etc. So I wouldn't necessarily compare the two, but I think we are operating in two completely different contexts, and it's just interesting to learn from each other.
So, post-COVID, there was a boom in free online content. So it must have taken a hit on the live paid shows. So from a strategic point of view, what changes have you made so that you can encourage the audience to come for paid events more?
Right. So yes, definitely post-COVID, it's been a huge struggle to bring back audiences into live shows. Not just paid live shows, even free shows, right? So it's been quite a challenge. So we are now, I think, a good 3 years past the worst COVID phase. I think slowly audiences are coming back. But having said that, we are not just competing with online music and dance, but we are also competing with the Netflix and the Amazon and all those entertainment channels as well. So somebody is sitting at home is deciding, hey, shall I watch the show today, or should I go and catch that live? So that is where we are struggling with. So one of the things that we do, let's say we have an event coming up or a festival coming up. So one of the things that we do is to make sure that we reach a larger cross-section of audience and communicate about the events or about the artists, etc., much earlier than doing things last minute.
Hmm.
So at least a 6 to 8 week sort of heads up. So it helps build the interest
Yeah.
slowly, and we also just simply don't depend on social media or Instagram.
Yeah.
We also do a lot of on ground outreach. We go to institutions, we go to colleges, schools, other organizations, look at ways of reaching individuals and creating a more 360-degree marketing approach than simply relying on social media and just sharing a few videos and posts and expecting people to come. So the way we target it is a lot more 360 degrees, and of course PR. PR is also a very integral part of our 360-degree marketing strategy because it helps reach a
More
larger
people.
cross section of people, and depending on what publications you target and what kind of platforms you target, you're able to reach those kind of audiences. And today, as you know that you are also a PR
Yeah.
student, PR is beyond just print, right? You
Hmm.
have influencers, you have podcasts, you have digital platforms. So we also try and look at how can we cover a significant part of all those platforms and through a PR strategy as well. So that's the way we've been trying to consistently sort of work on marketing and PR.
Okay. So another challenge is that now there is AI,
Yeah.
and with AI we can create content almost instantly. So do you think it's like a threat to the art forms, or is it like a benefit? Because now we can show how human creativity is unique and premium. So what do you think? Is it a threat or an opportunity?
So I don't think AI creating art will compete with humans creating art, and that's my personal opinion. And I think the way because I work with so many artists, and when you see them and you work with them and you see how they create work, it's mind blowing. So I don't think AI can come anywhere close to that. But having said that, I think AI, we must think of AI as an ally and see how can we use tools to help in promoting arts and taking things to the next level, helping scale with what we have already, using the various AI tools that is available today. But I don't think AI itself is a threat to the art world. I don't think AI will be able to create that kind of art.
Okay. So when it comes to scaling again, so if we want our Indian arts to compete globally, what do you think is a major challenge that we are facing today? And as a young generation, what is it that we can do that we can overcome this challenge?
I think that's a great question. So when you look at internationally, right, you look at performing arts productions, and I'm talking purely from a performing arts perspective. The productions are grand and they are in big stages, and the infrastructure is heavy and things like that. So in India, that is a challenge. Our productions are simpler than the international productions. That's also because we lack resources, and which also means that infrastructure becomes a challenge, which means you can't build like big stages and big stage sets to allow for this. In spite of this, there have been some big productions happening in India. So how do we get there? I think two things. One is I'm going to go back to funding, because that pretty much is the single most challenge that I think throughout India, across the arts and culture, we face. The second is that we need more organizations or people who are also working closely with the government, with, let's say, businesses, with patrons, to mobilize some of these resources, right? And see how can we bring this all together to help scale. So if you look at an artist, the artist is envisioning a production and it's grand and it's big. So that's all the artist can do, or the art organization can do. They need a lot of people working with them to help them scale. So today the challenge is that ecosystem is not there yet. It's slowly coming. We are in the process, but that ecosystem to support that artist, to say, hey, you create the production, we will help you scale, we will help you go global. That is not there. There are probably one or two today organizations that are doing, but that's very, very, very less considering the number of artists and art productions that are happening in India. So our biggest challenge is, one is funding, yes, but the ecosystem to have the wherewithal to help us scale, which is people, which is funding, which is a vision to take things global, and for all of that to
Yeah.
come together. I think that's where probably it will happen in the next 10 years.
Okay. So for that, you mentioned that we need PR in art management. So in PR, a major factor is stakeholder mapping.
Mhm.
So how do you prioritize and sequence this outreach to various stakeholders, such as clients? Then there will be influencers and funders and venues. So how do you prioritize outreach to each of these stakeholders?
Through PR specifically, are you
Yes.
asking
Yeah.
me? Right. So, like I said, PR is an integral part of our overall marketing strategy. So we look at a 360-degree marketing, which includes digital marketing, which includes on-ground marketing, etc.,
Yeah.
and that also includes PR, influencer, etc. So the way we map audiences primarily depending on what we're marketing for. Are we marketing for to begin with, are we marketing a dance performance? Are we marketing a music performance? Are we talking about a particular artist? So first we understand what is it, and then we map the target audiences for them. Are they young people? Are they middle-aged? Or is it, sometimes the targeting is not just by age, right? You're looking at a cross-section of age, but you're looking at people between 15 to 65, but who are interested in music.
Yeah.
So our stakeholder mapping happens based on what we are trying to market and by understanding this. So once you understand what we are targeting, whether it's a demographic or the psychographically, how we are going to target, then we get into the plan of then who are the kind of influencers we want to reach out to, what kind of publications you want to talk about. While there may be 3-4 publications are in general we always reach out to, but additionally, are we looking at more women centric? Are we looking at younger children? So that will help us also map the PR and PR in strategy or the influencer strategy, or looking at online platforms that are like podcast platforms or video platforms, etc. So based on pretty much the stakeholder mapping that we do, that's how we map for the PR as well.
Okay. So, ma'am, with ArtSpire, you have managed many high-profile artists who work across activism and tradition. So, what's your framework for preempting media backlash in PR campaigns, especially when they're blending cultural heritage with modern social issues?
Right. So this doesn't happen a lot, right? It happens only a few times, or maybe only with a couple of artists. But one of the things that we have also learned this over a period of time, it's not like we came equipped with those frameworks. One of the things that we've learned is a typical PR crisis management strategy, which I think as PR students you would also know, is to keep the stakeholders informed that there may be something that is coming. The first is to preempt, is we may know, and so you keep your clients or the stakeholders kind of informed. Then you prep the team to say to be ready for media calls. You keep your statements ready, and we also have to go through statements, making sure that the statements don't also are balanced and are not hurting other sentiments, etc. But at the same time, communicating the point of view, and I think beyond that, it's a little more dynamic. So we're going case by case based on what the issue is, right? But I think what we typically do is do some of the top 3-4 things that a typical crisis management strategy would do. Is keep your statements ready, keep your stakeholders informed, be extremely prompt, dynamic. You have to keep tracking if there are articles coming out, if there are messages coming out, and it's almost like 48, 72 hours. You're just tracking that till it, and then eventually, as we all know, anything that like is so talked about in the media, etc., dies down in 2-3 days. But the first 2-3 days are important, and we have learned this over a period of time. And since I've also worked in PR in my earlier part of my career, I've worked in a large PR agency. I do come with an understanding of how crisis management is done. So then it sort of helped me to manage these situations.
So when we hear of PR, many students like me, we think of film or fashion. So do you think art management is an even more successful career path? And what advice would you like to give the PR students or students aspiring to be a PR professional in the future?
Sure. I'm going to take this opportunity to talk a little bit more about arts management itself, because many of you are listening may not know what exactly arts management is. So if you take a company, right? A typical company, an organization. They have multiple verticals. You have operations, you'll have business, you'll have finance, you'll have business development, and then you may have administration. There are so many verticals. So when you look at an artist or an arts organization, they also can function only with these verticals. They cannot just function without these things. They also need business development, they need finance, they need marketing, they need administration, they need operations. So they also need all of that. So arts management is basically a field that brings the arts along with management and business functions. And that is why it's become a unique field.
Okay.
Right. And one of the main reasons it's a separate field and it's not like business management, but it's arts management, is because arts comes with its own sensibilities. You can't manage an artist like the way you manage a product or a brand, right? So it comes with its own sensibilities. It's its own world, its own domain. It requires a lot of understanding of what goes into that space, and hence it's become a separate field in itself. It's a very, very popular or a very advanced field in the West, like in the US and Europe. It's been around for, I think, 40, 50 years.
Okay.
India is simply
Still
just
there.
catching up now. But so today, India is in the growing stage in arts management, and it's a fantastic career to be in. When I started ArtSpire, I wasn't sure, but today I'm very sure that there is a lot of potential to be in the arts management space, to work with artists and to grow as arts managers, whether you're being an independent arts manager, or you're working with a company, or you're working with another institution, organization, it doesn't matter. Okay. So there is scope. And as PR professionals, as aspiring PR professionals, I think it's a great space to be in, because PR is such a highly people-intensive work, and arts management is exactly that. Okay. It's highly people-intensive. You will be working with different kinds of people day in and day out, and I think PR professionals would be a perfect fit to consider arts management as a career as well.
Okay, ma'am. So to wrap up now, let's move on to the rapid fire session. So if you had to describe ArtSpire in one word, what would it be?
The power of art.
Okay. And one word for the current state of art management in India?
Dynamic.
And one skill that every art manager must have?
Problem solving.
And if you could rename art management with a more honest title, what would it be?
I don't think there can be a more honest title, but cultural management, arts administration are usually the other titles used for arts management.
Okay. And a final question, if you had to sum up an art manager's job, what would it be?
High energy.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. There was a really wonderful answers. And thank you so much for joining us today in this conversation. I'm sure our audience would benefit a lot from it. So thank you once again for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me in this podcast. And I look forward to seeing more PR people getting into arts management. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Until we meet again next time.